Welcome to the Block Party. My name is Seth Kushner. Today we are joined by former Bolt and newly named color analyst for the Seattle Kraken, JT Brown. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Listen, dude, how did this all come to be? I'm so curious. You were playing in Sweden hockey, right? This past year. Did your agent call the Kraken and go, "Hey, are you guys hiring hockey players?" And they go, "No, but we got another job for you." Like, it seemed like this happened quick for you.
Yeah, it was definitely pretty quick. Like you said, I was playing in Sweden and, just kind of getting, or I guess working with my agent, trying to, decide what was going to be next. I know, he's always looking out, for myself, not only from the playing career, but, what I was going to do afterwards. And, this opportunity just kind of came up. So we obviously talked about it with him, my family, and also Seattle, and, just everything kind of aligned for us, to make this big decision to stop playing.
So the job presented itself and then you decided to stop playing. Was that kind of how it went?
Yeah. So they brought up, the potential opportunity to, take part in this. So again, we just sort of ran with it and obviously had to go through the process of, trying to be hired. And, I wasn't the only person I guess they were looking at for this position, but again, it was something that, I feel like it just aligned perfectly. And it was something that, I wanted to do.
Now, JT, you're a young guy. These are very, very rare jobs. So did they find you? Like, did they watch you doing Twitch? Where was it that they go, "Hey, this guy could have a future in this industry"?
They did bring up the Twitch. It's definitely, it helps, I guess, but obviously it's not a, straight correlation between, I stream on Twitch, I can be a color analyst. But again, I did a like a walkthrough, I guess, or an interview process with John and being able to call a game. And so that they recorded and were able to, go through what I had to say, how I said it. And, obviously I think it went well and they did apparently as well too.
How nervous were you? How does that compare, that tryout, to, playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs and other things you've had to go through in your life? What level of nerves did you have?
I would say I was pretty nervous going into it. It's a little different, watching a game on Zoom and calling a game. It's something that I don't have the experience in. I know I'm prepared, fully prepared when I go into a hockey game. You have your off-season training, you have all your meetings prior to game time. So when you go get ready to step on the ice, you're 100% ready. I had a quick crash course, going into our interview process, but that's the one thing that I do know I need to work on is just, making sure I'm prepared, and there's a lot to learn in this industry. But, as long as I, put in the work, I feel like it's something that I can do and can do very well at.
Absolutely. What game did they have you call? Was it like an old game? Was it a playoff game that was happening live? What they have you
it was an old game. Oddly enough. Yeah. It was Tampa versus Carolina.
Oh, okay. All right. I like how they pulled up a Tampa game for you. So
yeah, well, that was harder because in my crash course, it was like, try to stay away from nicknames. And I'm like, so you put the one team that I know literally everyone, yes, just by nickname. So that was maybe they threw that in there just to see how I would react with that.
That's great, though, that you felt good after you did the interview and you went through that, because a lot of people feel like, oh my God, I absolutely blew that. Nobody really ever feels good, I think, walking away from an interview or a tryout. So it's good you felt positive leaving it.
Yeah, definitely. I guess, that's the one thing, having a guy like John being able to help and walk through and kind of guide me along the process, even though we were, I was nervous and kind of getting started, but that kind of goes away. I almost related to playing a game. You might be nervous during the national anthem, but as soon as the puck drops, a lot of that just goes away. And I think the same thing could be said, during the process was started off a little, nervous. And then, as I kept going on, you just sort of get into a rhythm and you start to, be less worried. You're not thinking, that's the point, is don't think, just do.
When you're weighing the pros and cons of retiring from hockey, taking this job, what were the pros of stepping away from hockey? What'd you go, "Hey, I'm so happy that I won't have to do this if I leave hockey"?
There's a lot of pros. A lot of big things too are just, being able to go to Seattle, visit Seattle, see the city, falling in love with, the city itself, the rink, meeting and getting to talk to Seattle about, I think they're a leader right now in the diversity side of things and inclusion on who they're hiring, how their process is going. And to be a part of that, that was a lot of pros that went into it. But as far as the hockey side, I think I knew that, well, we all know at some point you're going to have to retire. It's inevitable. But this was a great way for me to retire, but also stay in hockey, and not have that period of not knowing, for myself and for my family, what's going to be next. How are we going to do it? And I think, when you just look at it, where I'm at and what the opportunity holds for me, the opportunity outweighed, trying to come back and, play for another year or two or whatever the case may be. I just thought that, this was a great opportunity and to join a great organization from the get-go, and be able to, leave a lasting imprint, not only with the team, but, the city itself.
Now, you're a smart guy, and you mentioned, and you go, hey, you know that you're gonna have to retire at some point. I don't know if all guys even think about that. It might not even pop into their head until, they're out of hockey. When did you start going, there's going to be life after hockey? Was it right before you went to Sweden? Was it still in the middle of your NHL career? When did you go, I got to figure out what next is going to be?
I feel like it's been a while since I've always thought about, life after hockey and what would I do. I think originally starting in, trying to work maybe in the diversity inclusion section, work with the team and be, have that be a part. And that's another positive with, this opportunity in Seattle is, I get to put on multiple hats. I'm not just doing, the color analysis, during the games, but there's time off where we're not playing games or when we're at home and, you have a practice day where I can get involved and be a part of the community. So I think that I always wanted to be a part of some sort of situation, still stay in hockey and be a part of a team. And this just kind of worked out perfectly where I can do multiple things that I enjoy.
Yeah, it looks amazing. You just an amazing opportunity. JT, when you were watching your old former teammates last year during the Stanley Cup run, obviously winning it, what was going through your mind, and who were you the most happy for, from your old teammates?
Everyone that I played with, I've said it a lot on stream when a lot of my fans are still Lightning fans as well. So I like to root for my friends, to see them have success. Obviously, the coaching staff and everybody that I spent a long time in Tampa. So obviously, you want to see them happy and see their success as well. So for me, it was just, seeing them and having them to have that joy was good. Because if not, what kind of friend are you if you're not pulling for your friends to do good in situations? Especially, obviously, if I was in the playoffs, I'd be like, hey, no, I'm trying to win. But you're not playing or you're not invested anymore. It's definitely about seeing your friends have that success.
Do you feel like there are people that, if there were guys that played during the years that you guys came close and they're watching that, they might be going, I don't want this to happen without me. Like, is that why you're saying you'd be an idiot, or, what kind of guy would you be if you rooted against your friends? Because I feel like it could be there for certain guys.
I'm sure there are people like that. Again, I've gotten to know, just from playing with a lot of the guys, starting in Syracuse and then, the years with the Lightning, you've got to become really good friends with them. And again, it's more, like I said, I wasn't in the finals playing against them. If I was playing against them, you bet right away I'm choosing that I would want to win, right? But you're out of it, and why root against them? There were so many good times and memories with those guys. So for me, that wasn't the case.
JT, how do you handle? I'm now doing broadcasting from Amalie during the Stanley Cup playoffs and everything, and then I find it hard, especially for Game 7 we just had against the Islanders, to kind of kill all day before you get to 8:30. I feel like it's like psychopathic to make these players and everybody wait. Did you find it hard at all to wait for a big game, or would you just take a nap and you had no problem with the schedule?
I had no problem with the schedule. I'm a big napper, so I would always take a nice little nap. And if I wasn't napping, I'd probably be playing video games to pass the time before and just to get ready and kind of just go. But I can see from, a more of a fan perspective, like how much longer it is. But I think from a player side, a lot of, having that time is good. You don't want too much time off, but the delay in between games and obviously having that time to rest and nap and, fully collect yourself before, starting the new series is good.
Are there more insults in the gaming world or on the ice? Where did you hear? I feel like people could be much more vicious in the gaming world.
Gaming world for sure. There's definitely, there's guys on every team that like to draw back and forth. So you'll get a little bit of that, but I feel like gaming more so is just, it's everywhere. Whereas in hockey, I feel like every team kind of has their player that, that's their thing.
Are there like people that you've got into it with when you've been streamer doing that are kids that are really giving it to, and you're like, I'm not going to let this little kid get me? Or do you try to leave the little ones alone?
See, I think it's the opposite. So I look at it from a standpoint where I'm like, oh, like I'm playing Call of Duty and I beat them, like, instead of being like, oh, you're trash. And I'm looking at them like, wait, these guys are like 12. I'm 30, about to be 31. Like, I can't be talking trash to these little kids. Like, so I look at it from the other side. I'm like, man, am I too old? Like, I'm not, like, I still enjoy it. Like, I still have fun, but I feel like I've crossed the level or age level to where, like, I don't need to be trash talking, a little 12-year-old on the Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever the game may be. So I feel like in earlier years, when I was in the 22, 21, I probably would have been chirping them. But right now, I've grown up a little bit.
Was there anybody that you would play with on the team back in the day? Or it seemed like you were like the only guy that was like really, really into it. I remember you'd always post like your customized controllers. Would anybody like Yanni Gord or anybody game with you?
Duran was probably the one who would play most. He was probably the best at NHL. When I was playing, Paquette would play as well. But yeah, I mean, guys play, but I don't know if they had the same level as me or passion for it. Obviously I feel like every team has guys that play and they continue to do it, but it's a little bit easier now, I feel like, than when I first was doing it. But again, every team has players, but I would say Duran was probably, I didn't beat him very often in NHL.
Now, you mentioned that you still have a lot of fans from Tampa Bay, and when you made the announcement about getting hired by Seattle, people were so happy. And I think part of it isn't just you, but it was your wife and how outspoken she is and the impact that she made in Tampa Bay. And I just want to know, do you have a favorite tweet of Lexi's at all? Because I know that she has no problem going after anybody or saying anything. Or have you ever had to go, whoa, hold on, you might have to take this one down? Or is there just no holding her back?
No, there's really no holding her back. And that's what I love her. That's the good part. And, we joke back and forth all the time on social media. I don't know if I have a favorite one, but I definitely have a least favorite one.
Oh yeah. Let's hear it.
I don't know exactly which one it is. We'll have to find exactly what it said, but she had a Super Bowl tweet. I want to say maybe it was 3 years ago now that went like viral. And holds us like I have more Twitter followers than her and Instagram, which I should but at the same time, like this tweet did numbers and she holds it over me if we get into a conversation or I say something about Twitter, she'll be like, well, yeah, but did your tweet get this many million likes? And I'm like, no, like I'll never, like I would need to double and like check the exact number of what it has, but I'm telling you, it went viral.
That's impressive. Has she ever said, hey, listen, I got a tweet for you. I wrote this for you. You should write this, or you don't need any ghostwriters for what you got going on social media?
I will just say I'd be dumb not to have her help me every now and then. She's very good at what she does, very intelligent. So I usually will have her proofread most of what I do, if I'm being honest.
That's smart. No, that's smart. Listen, JT, when you raised your fist back in 2017 to bring awareness about the inequality for minorities and police brutality, it seemed like you had and it was a very like tense time just around the country. It seemed like you had the support of your teammates, the entire organization, the fan base. And then you took that, you didn't stop there. And then you met, I think, with the police chief of the police department. Is that what it was like for you? Did you feel like you had the support of everybody when you went and made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, especially, you talk about the fans. I feel like they've been supportive for the most part. Obviously, you're going to have the people who it's social media, no matter what, there's going to be negative comments, but, there was a lot of support, from the Tampa area. And, that just, it feels good to have that support and to have your back, in that way.
With the expansion draft coming up, Seattle going to start picking up all their players. Who knows how it's going to pan out. If Seattle came to you and said, hey, listen, we got to, we're debating between a few guys, snatching them on the Lightning. Who do you like? Who would you suggest that Seattle goes ahead and takes a look at that joins you out there?
Come on, I can't say that now. And then and who I would decide. I mean, I think there's a lot of great players in Tampa, and if they did come to me, I'm sure they have plenty of people that they know a lot about every player. They've done their research, but they're either way. I feel like that's the crazy part about the draft is good players are going to be leaving teams, and unfortunately for Tampa, they don't have a shortage right now of good players on the roster, and that's again why you see the success they're having. So I don't know. I mean, it depends who's protected and who's not protected. But again, I think there's going to be somebody good on, pretty much every team that's going to, have to move and come to Seattle and, start in a new career, or well, not career, but, in a new place. So I don't know if I can give you an exact person because there's a lot of them. I mean, you just take a pick, right? Like there's a lot of got players on Tampa. So again, we'll see what happens, and I'm excited to see. But I don't know if they'll need my input on it though.
I was just trying to frame a way to get you into that question.
I just tiptoed my way around it a little bit.
Well, you know what? It's just something that we talk about, all the time. We sit around and, obviously the cap situation with the Lightning, and it's something that fans are just like, I mean, what's going to happen? Who's it going to be? They've been able to, finagle their way through the cap for the last few years. So we're grateful Seattle is probably going to be able to take some salary off our hands, but that is something that we talk about a lot as fans. So that's why I wanted to ask you. I know that you're doing color for the Seattle Kraken, but do you have a goal call? Did they ever ask you to do a goal call? Is that part of it? Would you like to debut one today?
I have not done a goal call. I have, I'm learning my role. I'm saying I'll leave that for John. I've been told I don't want to be talking when there's a goal. That's my goal, right? Like I'm making sure that I am quiet when something's about to happen. So I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I'll work my way to there. That's the same thing with people who've been asked about catchphrases. And I'm like, I don't have one yet because I want to just see what happens. And see how things stick. I'm not trying to come up with a catchphrase or come up with something cool where it feels forced. So, hopefully just go in, just be myself and, stick to my personality.
Absolutely. Let it happen organically. So this episode will come out on Wednesday. We'll have one game in the books. Tell me, we got Stanley Cup final. Lightning are back against Montreal. Very hot. Who do you like in the series? Still going with your friends?
Yeah. So I've been just like a lot of people, and I would say ruling out Montreal for the last, every series, if I'm just going to be honest. I feel like now I have to give them their credit for what they've done, and I probably should have done it earlier. With saying that, I think it's going to be a goaltending battle, which, I mean, I'm not coming up with some huge,
narrative.
Like it's going to be a goaltending battle. We'll see who wins it. I think both of Price and Vazzy are playing, at the top of their game. It's going to be a tough game. You look at the power play for Tampa and the penalty killing of Montreal. That's been really hot as of late. It has a matchup for a good series. I still am picking Tampa, but I'm not going to say like the last series where I'm saying they're going to get swept or it's going to be 5. I'm going to say I've been saying Tampa in 6 because I think that I got to give Montreal their credit for what they've done so far and, proving everybody wrong. But I still have Tampa winning it. I mean, it's hard to go against the defending champs as well as, they're playing some of the best hockey right now as well. So hard to go against them. I'm not coming up with anything crazy here, but I think I'm going to go with 6.
All right. I'll take 6. I just don't want 7. I can't take 7 again. Jay,
I'll take 7 because I like watching. But I looked it up. I remember it was like millions of views. It had like 582,000 likes.
Jeez.
And 62,000, almost 63,000 retweets.
And what did it say? What Super Bowl was it?
So it was February 3rd. So it was in 2020. My 2-year-old daughter watched the Super Bowl halftime show. She's now a stripper selling pictures of her feet online. She's supporting the entire family, and we've never been more proud. It was for one of the halftime shows. And I'm like, this is because I look at it and I'm like, this wasn't even one of your best tweets. Like you've had like super funny tweets, mostly making fun of me, but they don't get those numbers. And all of a sudden she throws one out there while we were watching the Super Bowl, and it just kept going. So yeah, she'll have that over me for forever. I don't see myself eclipsing that anytime soon. So yeah, that would be, now that I just went back and searched it real quick, that would be the one tweet that I dislike.
Yeah,
because
that's
she has
good.
that over me, and I'm too competitive.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's I mean, I gotta say that's kind of a strong tweet, but it's always the ones that you don't think are good enough. It's the ones that take off. It's like when you talk to a band or an artist and they go, I wrote this song in 10 minutes and it was the biggest hit ever.
that's no different than why I don't like the catchphrase, having it come organically, not trying to think of something perfect that's going to work out. Like you said, the tweet, she just put it out, wasn't trying to think of being too funny, and then boom, there it goes, versus, forcing it.
JT, you have the right mindset. Just let it'll all happen organically. You'll get there, man. This is like, it's going to be year one of like a 40-year career for you. So it's all going to happen. Don't sweat it. I do want to know, man, since you have a ton of fans here in Tampa Bay, when you reflect, you played so many big games, you were here in the area for a while. What's your favorite, on ice memory when you reflect on your time with the Lightning?
I'd say favorite on ice memory, I think, would be, like, you're saying in Tampa's building or just in general while playing with?
Just when you were with the Lightning. Yeah. When you think about your time with the Lightning, what kind of pops in your head?
I mean, I think the first thing obviously is making the run we did, going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Obviously, we didn't win that year, but I think just the team and the run was special, for myself. But also I think just showing up every day and getting out there and having a sold out arena every single game, having the fans cheering you on, it was definitely a special place to play, and I'm appreciative for all the fans in Tampa.
Listen, we were happy for your time here, JT, man. Congrats on the new gig. That's awesome. We're going to be watching Seattle games. I'll stay up late just to hear you, man. Can't wait to see how your career develops and progresses. Congrats on everything you've done, man. And thanks for coming on the Block Party today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.